The purpose of this video is to cause awareness of the current situation I believe we are facing today. Life. By definition, it is the condition that distinguishes animals and plants from inorganic matter, including the capacity for growth, reproduction, functional activity, and continual change preceding death. But is that all that life is? Birth, experience, and death? Or is there more? 1 Corinthians 6:19 says, "Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God?" If we look at the molecular formation of our bodies, our temples, we can find clues to how connected we truly are to the Creator. One of them being His name on every strand of our DNA. Let me explain. In a single DNA strand, there contains nucleotides. Nucleotides are one of the most basic structural units, comprised of 3 parts: nitrogenous base, pentose sugar, and phosphate. It is a building block, an organic molecule which may be joined together in a repeating fashion to form more complex molecules called polymers, such as DNA and proteins, that are fundamental to biological structure and function. The unique thing is the order in which sulfide bonds your 2 DNA strands together to make up the double helix. They occur after the 10th pair of nucleotides, again after the 5th pair, and 6 pairs later, and then again 5 pairs later. If we look in the Hebrew alphabet, we find the 10th letter is Yod, the 5th letter is He, and the 6th letter is Vav. Yod, He, Vav, He. Looking at the situation through this lens, one could theorize on every human chromosome is the symbol of the divine, and a promise that you were made in His image and sealed with His name. I believe it is this divine design that the enemy desires to obliterate, to obliterate, to obliterate. By injecting loaded messenger RNA into cells, one can sneak fragments of foreign enemy DNA through the carefully guarded nuclear walls and unload their contents into the beautiful DNA that God wrote for you.
DNA is an acronym for deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribo. Nucleic acid. Deoxy is related to the Latin root deus, meaning God. Ribo is related to the Arabic RB, written Rob. This means the Lord which nourishes a thing stage by stage. Nucleic means center. Thus, deoxyribonucleic means that at the center of every cell there is God. Acid stands for chemical fire. When you put it all together, you get God, Master, the fire at the center of my being.
And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God. As God hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them.
CRISPR is amazing because it allows us to precisely edit the DNA in living organisms, including in people and plants. With CRISPR, we can change, remove, or replace the genes that govern the function of cells. This means that we now have the ability to use CRISPR like a word processor to find, cut, and paste text.
In 2011, scientists created glow-in-the-dark cats. The researchers took a gene from glowing jellyfish and inserted it into the unfertilized eggs of house cats. It was a neat trick, but they had a bigger goal in mind. They also made the cats more likely to be resistant to a feline form of AIDS by, again, manipulating their DNA. And cats aren't that different than humans. In fact, we share around 90% of our DNA with them. So why can't we engineer humans in the same way? Well, we can. Engineer ourselves to be resistant to life-threatening illnesses, that is. In fact, one scientist claims that he's genetically engineered 2 babies using a revolutionary tool called CRISPR. But what exactly is CRISPR, baby, anyway? Would you like to be 6 feet tall? Or never bald? The secret to traits like these lies in the 6 billion letters of your genetic code. But there can be something else in there as well. Mutations. Genetic mutations are linked to at least 6,000 medical conditions, from sickle cell anemia to Huntington's disease. But what if you could make those mutations simply disappear? That's where the gene editing tool CRISPR comes in. CRISPR is made from specialized proteins and other compounds found in certain bacteria. Normally, these proteins protect the bacteria by destroying enemy invaders like viruses. But the inventors of CRISPR figured out how to turn those proteins against genetic mutations and other genes linked to disease. First, they give the proteins coordinates of the wanted gene. Then, CRISPR runs a seek and destroy function. After that, other molecules are dispatched to repair the gene with new, healthy DNA. Just like that, you can edit the human genome. But while the edits may be quick, their changes can last for centuries. Especially if you're editing the DNA in an embryo. Embryos start out with a single cell that eventually replicates into millions and then trillions more. So if you alter that initial cell first, you're manipulating the ingredients for every cell that follows later in life. And those same altered cells can be passed on from generation to generation. That's one reason why most experiments on human embryos haven't left the lab. That is, except for the work of Dr. He Jiankui. He claims to have used CRISPR to target and knock out the CCR5 gene in human embryos. And then he did something that shocked the scientific community. He implanted the embryos into several women, one of whom gave birth to genetically modified twins. Resistance to HIV aside, most scientists say the procedure was too risky. At least 2 studies suggest that edited cells might actually trigger cancer. And another found that CRISPR can accidentally take aim at healthy DNA. So while CRISPR could make us immune to disease, who knows what else we might get on the side. He implanted the embryos into several women, one of whom gave birth to genetically modified twins.
The features of this fourth industrial revolution is that it doesn't change what we are doing, but it changes us.
The difference of this fourth industrial revolution is it doesn't change what you are doing, it changes you. If you take genetic editing, just as an example, It's you who are changed. And of course, this has a big impact on your identity. It doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you if you take a genetic editing.
Something that's largely flown under the radar, a patent filed by the US government for a new product containing luciferase. That's a bioluminescent material often used in COVID-19 research. There are now reportedly proposals to use this product to start tracking people's vaccination status with an injectable that would sit under the skin. Now, you've been digging into this issue. Can you tell us what you've learned so far?
Well, I think people get hung up on the freaky name of it because it, of course, it sounds like they're talking about Lucifer from the Bible being like the devil. And, naturally people are concerned about, among the religious community, they talk about the mark of the and things like that. And they're legitimately worried about that. And, of course, the media has a field day trying to debunk it and so on. The reality is this. Luciferase, regardless of how you interpret it, right, just on the surface, it's a bioluminescent material contained in like lightning bugs and so on. And one of the reasons they want to use it for these marks they want to give people, and the Department of Homeland Security has filed a patent for it, and there's ongoing research on it. It's a lot of reporting on this. They have filed a patent for it, and they want to give people marks. And the reason they want to use luciferase is because it's bioluminescent and shows up under UV light. And so they can scan you almost like a barcode. They can scan this mark they give you, and it can bring up, for example, almost just like a QR code, again, like scan with your smartphone. It can bring up data on your vaccination status or any other data they want to include on you. And to me, that is what was concerning. Not so much, well, I think it's creepy, the name of it, of course, especially as related to they want to mark you with it. But to me, the bigger thing, well, arguably the bigger thing, at least the one on the surface, is that they want to do this in the first place. That they want to give people tattoos, essentially, using this bioluminescent material so they can tell whether or not you're listening to the government. That concerns me very deeply.
And a promise that you were made in his image and sealed with his name. I believe it is this divine design that the enemy desires to obliterate, to obliterate, to obliterate.
CRISPR-Cas9 is a genetic engineering technique in molecular biology by which the genomes of living organisms are modified. The cell's genome can be cut at a desired location, allowing existing genes to be removed and/or new ones added. This is changing God's recipe. In the United States and Canada, Monsanto requires buyers of its genetically modified seeds to sign extensive licensing contracts that prevent them from saving seeds or benefiting financially without Monsanto's consent. North American farmers who violate those agreements have been sued for patent infringement and compelled to pay tens of thousands of dollars in damages.
This is clearly telling us that those who have changed what was originally God's patent, who have replaced God's patent with their own patent, now have total power of that patent. I'm giving you my special pancake recipe. 2 cups of flour, 2 cups of milk, 1 egg. Yes or no? If you add or take away anything in the recipe I've given you, is it still my recipe? No.
And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good.
Many are expecting a real alien invasion. It has already started. Here is your real alien invasion.
What you are about to see is DNA's most extraordinary secret. How a simple code is turned into flesh and blood. It begins with a bundle of factors assembling at the start of a gene. A gene is simply a length of DNA instructions stretching away to the left. The assembled factors trigger the first phase of the process, reading off the information that will be needed to make the protein. Everything is ready to roll. 3, 2, 1, go. The yellow chain snaking out of the top is called RNA. The building blocks to make the RNA enter through an intake hole. You are watching this process in real time. It's happening right now in almost every cell in your body.
Blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear.
Bit about the study that just came out of Sweden that is just so alarming.
The news is buzzing out of Lund University, Malmö, Sweden. Marcus Alden is the first author. The first demonstration in a human hepatic or liver cell line that the vaccine in fact reverse transcribes and installs DNA into the human genome.
Wow. And so in simple terms, what does that mean, Dr. Bartlett?
Thank you for making it simple. So basically, there's an enzyme that can take that messenger gene information and put it into the DNA of the person, into their DNA. And we were told that could not happen. So this is in a lab, but it's showing that you remember the vaccine is messenger.
Yeah.
And we were told that that messenger RNA could not go into your DNA, but this is showing that in a lab it can.
But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear.
Mark.
Strong's G 5480, Charagba. Charagba.
A scratch or etching. To remove or cancel something written by crossing it out or drawing a line through it. For example, you might scratch out a mistake. A badge of servitude. Badge. To identify a person.
And of course this has a big impact on your identity. Genetic editing.
Servitude. A state of being a slave or completely subject to someone more powerful. Sculptured figure. Make or present a form by carving, casting. Carefully sculptured. Graven. Engrave means to cut or carve a design, letters or pictures into a hard surface. Thing carved, sculpture, graven work. Carved. Cut or engraved to produce an object.
Strong's G 5482, Charax. Charax.
To sharpen to a point. What patent name is in the abomination? You will find the new patent name on their website. Luciferase. Erase who? And guess who's also on their website? CRISPR-Cas9, and guess what patent number is involved? Microsoft Patent 666. Patent. A government authority or license conferring a right or title for a set period. He took out a patent for an improved steam hammer. A patent is proof of ownership of an invention.
But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear.
The term human seed can refer to a person's biological ancestry or lineage, or to the idea of a seed of light and love.
And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ.
War. Make or become bent or twisted out of shape. A twist or distortion in the shape of something.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, and prevailed against them.
Who's in charge of that Operation Warp Speed?
We have, you know who's in charge of it, honestly? I am.
And look, I guess in a certain way I'm the father of the vaccine because I was the one that pushed it.
And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And he caused all, and he caused all, and he caused all.
Cause. To make. To be the authors of the cause. To make ready, to prepare. To make a thing out of something. To make one do something. Problem, response, solution. Cause the problem. Wait for the response. The supply them with the solution.
And he caused all.
Cause the problem.
Tonight, I want to speak with you about our nation's unprecedented response to the outbreak that started in China and is now spreading throughout the world. Today, the World Health Organization officially announced that this is a global pandemic.
Wait for the response.
And he caused all.
The supply them with the solution.
Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark, to receive a mark.
Receive. To give something to someone. To bestow a gift.
This year, get her the one thing she's been waiting for. The COVID-19 vaccine.
Developing now at 6, free money to get the vaccine. San Antonio will be giving out incentives like $100 to get the shot.
The city of Henderson offering money for people who now decide to get the vaccine.
The city of Houston now stepping up big time with how much it will pay folks to get a COVID vaccine.
News now. COVID shots for kids under 5 years old could be available by the end of the month. Pfizer asked U.S. regulators today, just as health officials in Milwaukee announced another vaccine incentive program.
To bestow a gift.
Stephanie Haynes reports.
Tonight in COVID-19 in Colorado, you will now get a $100 gift card if you get the COVID vaccine.
The St. Louis Health Department is expanding its vaccine incentive program. Starting today, $100 gift cards will be offered to all residents who get a COVID-19 vaccination or booster.
Governor Walz announced yesterday that Minnesota is joining the Biden administration's initiative to provide $100 to all Minnesotans.
To bestow a gift.
Trojan horse.
In Greek mythology, a hollow wooden statue of a horse, in which the Greeks are said to have concealed themselves in order to enter Troy. A person or thing intended to undermine or secretly overthrow an enemy or opponent. The rebels may use this piece of court as a Trojan horse to try and take over. Computing a program designed to breach the security of a computer system while ostensibly performing some innocuous function.
Is this an offering to Poseidon? The Greeks are praying for a safe return home.
I hope the sea god spits in their offering.
Let's them all drown at the bottom of the sea. This is a gift. This is a gift. This is a gift. We should take it to the Temple of Poseidon.
I think we should burn it.
Burn it, my prince. It's a gift to the gods.
Father, burn it.
And it's great. And you know what? I believe totally in your freedoms. I do. You got to do what you have to do. But I recommend take vaccines. I did it. It's good. Take vaccines. But you got, no, that's okay. That's all right. You got your freedoms. But I happen to take the vaccine. If it doesn't work, you'll be the first to know, okay?
But know this, that if the goodman of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. So that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
To grant, give to one asking. To give over to one's care. Something to be administered.
Administer.
Dispense or apply, a remedy or drug. Paramedic crews are capable of administering drugs. We have already studied the word mark. right hand. A place of honor or authority. A place of honor or authority. The Hebrew word for right hand is yamin, which encompasses the entire arm from the shoulder to the fingertips, which encompasses the entire arm from the shoulder to the fingertips. Yamin. Yamin is a name of Hebrew origin that means right hand. In Hebrew culture, the right hand is associated with power, strength, and authority. Power, strength, and authority. Right-handed double helix. A right-handed double helix refers to a spiral structure where two strands twist around each other, with the twist occurring in the same direction as your right hand would curl, if you were to imagine grasping the helix with your thumb pointing upwards, meaning as you move along the helix, your fingers would naturally follow an upward spiral path, similar to how you would naturally curl your fingers on your right hand. What does it mean for a helix to be right-handed? A right-handed helix is defined as a type of helix where the backbone dihedral angles repeat specific values, causing the chain to twist into a right-handed spiral with 3 residues per turn and 10 atoms in the hydrogen-bonded ring between each NH donor and its CO acceptor. What does having a double helix mean? Double helix, as related to genomics, is a term used to describe the physical structure of DNA. A DNA molecule is made up of 2 linked strands that wind around each other to resemble a twisted ladder in a helix-like shape.
DNA is a molecule in our cells that acts a little bit like an instruction manual to grow a human, maintain a human, and have it go on to make new little humans as well. This is a model of a molecule of DNA, and it looks like a ladder with a bit of a twist to it. There's actually 4 main building blocks of DNA. These are adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine, and they pair together to form the rungs of the ladder, and there's a pairing rule. Adenine always pairs with thymine, and guanine always pairs with cytosine, and the way I was taught to remember that is that G and C are both curved letters. The sides of the ladder are made up of sugar and phosphate molecules. Now, the DNA molecule is a chiral molecule, which means it has a particular handedness. It spirals either one way or the other. And the word chiral comes from the Greek for hand. Now, there's 3 main forms of DNA, but it's the B form which is the most common, and it has a right-handed double helix structure. And the word chiral comes from the Greek for hand. And the word chiral comes from the Greek for hand. And the word chiral comes from the Greek for hand.
Chiral. A chiral right hand is a right hand that is non-superposable on its mirror image, the left hand. The term chiral comes from the Greek word chir, which means hand. In the Bible, the phrase God's right hand of protection refers to God's power, authority, and protection. Protection.
When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall be gathered all nations. And he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. This Jesus hath God raised up, whereof we all are witnesses. Therefore, being by the right hand of God exalted, and having received of the Father the promise of the Holy Ghost, he hath shed forth this which ye now see and hear. For David is not ascended into the heavens, but he saith himself, The Lord said unto my Lord, Sit thou on my right hand, until I make thy foes thy footstool. And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. For David speaketh concerning him, I foresaw the Lord always before my face, for he is on my right hand, that I should not be moved. For he is on my right hand, that I should not be moved.
When you hand over the right-hand authority ownership of your Creator, you become the authority ownership of Lucifer.
Forehead. Forehead free will is a symbolic phrase often used in religious or spiritual contexts to represent the idea that a person's ability to make choices and exercise their free will is directly connected to their mind and consciousness, visualized as being located on their forehead, essentially signifying that their decision-making power is readily apparent and accessible to them, often with the implication that this choice is a visible expression of their inner self. Free will is the capacity or ability to choose between different possible courses of action. There are different theories as to its nature. A biker performing a dirt jump that, according to some interpretations, is the result of free will. The forehead is the mind, is the frontlets between your eyes, the battlefield. There's a war on the mind. Forehead, called spiritual warfare. It is a battle in which the enemy knows that if he can influence your mind, he can affect your actions. In this spiritual warfare, he seeks to get your focus off of God's truth, so he can sidetrack and destroy your life. Eve made a choice that resulted in all mankind being born into sin, to why we have to be born again. Her right hand, her action, to eat off the forbidden tree, was ultimately motivated by her mind, her frontlets between her eyes, her forehead.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. Therefore shall ye lay up these my words in your heart and in your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be as frontlets between your eyes, And it shall be for a token upon thine hand, and for frontlets between thine eyes, For by strength of hand the Lord brought us forth out of Egypt. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out, and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell.
The forehead and right hand, regarding the abomination, is 100% symbolic. Yes or no? Are not these verses symbolic, not literal? And if literal, and because all have sinned, we would expect every Christian to have missing limbs. Are we able to sin if we cut off our limbs? We can clearly harmonize scripture here to see that the right hand and forehead regarding the mark is indeed symbolic, and there's no harmonizing scriptures that say it's literal. Might. Could. Be able. May. To be able, have power, whether by virtue of one's own ability and resources, or of a state of mind, or through favorable circumstances, or by permission of law or custom. To be able to do something. The forehead represents free will. So is the word might. Every person around the world, whether they took the abomination or did not take the abomination, everyone had a might moment. Many chose to save their lifestyle by receiving the abomination, the way in which a person lives.
For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? And every one that hath forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life.
The Apostle John describes how, at the sixth trumpet, 4 angels who have been bound at the great river Euphrates are released to prepare for the final judgment. These angels are not ordinary beings, they are fallen angels. Once loosened, they will mingle themselves with the seed of man.
And the 6th angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar which is before God, saying to the 6th angel which had the trumpet, Loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the 3rd part of men.
Do we have a verse to say they were imprisoned? Yes, we do.
And the angels, which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day.
Why were they imprisoned?
And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown.
It is evident that these fallen angels who were imprisoned, and was ultimately responsible for creating their literal children, the Nephilim we see in Genesis chapter 6, who now have been loosened from their prison, will continue on with what they started in the days of Noah. Corruption of the flesh. Once loosened, they will mingle themselves with the seed of man.
And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. But they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay.
Messenger. An angel messenger is a supernatural being that is sent by God to deliver messages, provide guidance, or protect humans. The term angel comes from the Greek word agelos, which means one who brings a message, one who brings a message, one who brings a message. They, the 4 angels that are loosened from their prison, who then will mingle themselves with the seed of men, by sending a message to our DNA to rewrite the genome of mankind, messenger RNA, messenger RNA, messenger RNA. Messenger RNA carries a message from the nucleus to the cytoplasm. The four angels being loosed to continue on what they did prior to being imprisoned can be compared to a genie being loosed from its bottle. The phrase CRISPR-Cas9 genie in a bottle refers to the powerful potential of CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing technology, comparing it to the mythical genie who can grant wishes, implying that CRISPR has the ability to make significant and precise changes to DNA, essentially allowing scientists to edit genes at will, with the potential for vast implications in medicine and research, but also raising concerns about ethical considerations due to its immense power. The word genie has multiple meanings, including a magical spirit from Arabian stories, a spirit or demon, or a person with great natural ability. In mythology, genies, also known as jinn, are supernatural beings that can shapeshift, possess humans, and cause madness. They are often depicted as living in lamps or bottles. They are said to be very territorial. And enjoy revenge. They are said to be capable of possessing humans, or influencing their actions. COVID backwards is Divok. Divok is a term derived from the Hebrew word dibuk, which is an evil spirit capable of possessing other creatures, and it's believed to be the suffering soul. The only way to accept this genie in your temple is to first evict or divorce the original owner.
How long have you been trapped in here?
About 1,000 years.
1,000 years.
1,000 years.
And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived.
If you change the DNA, you change the species that salvation is for. Therefore, the light of salvation has been switched off, and the voice of the bride and of the bridegroom, the gospel, is now obsolete. Is the mark of the beast pharmaceuticals. The word pharmakia comes from the word sorcery. The Greek word pharmakia, frequently translated as witchcraft or sorcery, and other variants thereof such as pharmakon and pharmakos, appear several times in the Old Testament and 5 times in the New Testament. Now the word pharmaceutical comes from the word pharmakia. The word pharmaceuticals directly derives from the Greek word pharmakeia, which refers to the practice of preparing and using drugs or medicines.
Psalm 2. Why do the heathen rage, and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us.
Band can be an archaic term for bond. Both words come from Middle English and mean something that binds or fastens things together. Each molecule of DNA is a double helix formed from 2 complementary strands of nucleotides held together by hydrogen bonds between GC and AT base pairs. To pull or tear or draw off or away or apart, draw out, pluck up, break, lift, root out. To draw away, to draw or pull off, to pull or tear away, to be drawn away, be drawn out, To be torn apart or in two, be snapped. To be separated. To tear apart, snap. To tear out, tear up, tear away. Those whom God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. Cord. Cord, rope. Cordage, foliage, interwoven foliage. Cord, rope. Cordage, chain, interwoven foliage. Cord, rope. Cordage, foliage, interwoven foliage. Cord, rope. Cordage, chain, interwoven foliage. The kings of the earth imagine a vain thing. Their obsession to change the human species is purely designed to overwrite all creation. This is forced evolution. This is, here's the key words, their sorcery. In Revelation 18:23 we see these key words, "For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived." The word thy means your, as in your sorceries. So this verse has a dual meaning, a message to us to understand that the sorcery turns off salvation, and it's letting us know who's pushing the sorcery, the kings of the earth, those that govern us.
And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk, neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts.
Now there's only two groups that did not die from this sorcery. Group A, those that caused the problem, the masterminds that own it and distributed their sorcery. Group B, those that refused it, they don't own it, they are not causing the problem, and they are not supplying the solution. Note here when it says, neither repented they of their, key word, their murders, nor of their sorceries. Now out of these two groups, who caused the problem, who supplied the solution, who owns the sorcery and who is not stopping, repenting of their sorcery, and which group is murdering people with their sorcery? In order to reverse the original patent holder's signature, we would need to have the technology to erase Lucifer's name out and replace it with the original patent name. Patent reversal. Now the reason why the mark is unrepentable is because only God himself can cut asunder, that mankind alone cannot undo. It was Jesus who gave the command to gather first the tears.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
Worship is a form of choice. Look at the choice that Eve took that changed everything. Did she literally bow down? No. Her action to disobey God, which represents her right hand, which is symbolic for power and authority, was the action followed from what was in her thoughts. And what was in her thoughts, just like the abomination looked pleasing to the eyes of those that received it, the fruit looked pleasing to the eyes of Eve.
And that it was pleasant to the eyes, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and that it was pleasant to the eyes.
It is the thoughts, the frontlets between her eyes, her forehead that caused her right hand to eat off the forbidden tree of good and evil. Yes, it is now possible to identify a person's DNA from sources like footprints on a beach, air breathed in a room, or saliva, as people naturally shed skin cells and other biological material that contain DNA into their environment. The signature name of God is found on every self-replicating DNA cell, and if every self-replicating cell has been edited with the name Lucifer, you can imagine that Lucifer's signature is now found in all these things.
Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy, for the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are. What, know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost which is in you, which ye have of God, and ye are not your own?
Now I'm going to gather scriptures pointing to divorcing God at the genetic level.
Let no man deceive you by any means. For that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first.
Forsakes, forsakes, forsakes.
Forsake.
Past tense, forsook, gerund or present participle. Forsaking, past participle, forsaken. To forsake another person is to leave them entirely.
And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
So that he, Lucifer, as their new god, now sitteth in the temples of those, a temple that was originally owned by God, showing himself that he is now their new owner, showing himself that he is God.
Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things? And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time.
And now ye know what withholdeth, restrain, hold back. Only God can cut asunder, and he's no longer holding back his anger, his protection no more. The restrainer has left when the abomination was administered.
For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way, until he be taken out of the way, until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, and then shall that wicked be revealed, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
Lucifer is not overly intrigued in a third temple to be built in Jerusalem that he already owns. The only interest he has in a third temple or a rumor of a third temple is to deceive people into thinking that the real temple that he wants to own is not a temple made by hands, but a temple that is currently owned by God, you and I.
Who needeth not daily, as those high priests, to offer up sacrifice, first for his own sins, and then for the people's. For this he did once, when he offered up himself. Give us this day our daily bread. I protest by your rejoicing which I have in Christ Jesus our Lord, I die daily. And he said to them all, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself, and take up his cross daily, and follow me. Praising God, and having favor with all the people. And the Lord added to the church daily such as should be saved.
Who is the daily sacrifice? Yes or no, Jesus Christ is that daily sacrifice. As long as someone is still breathing and genetically ripe for salvation, that daily sacrifice, salvation, is available for everyone at any time. It's called grace.
And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world?
The word sign is a singular word, not plural, so there's going to be a singular sign that would activate his coming. Here is that sign.
When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, stand in the holy place, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand.
We find that singular sign here. The appointed words are, When ye therefore shall see, witness, in this case, shall see the rolling out of the abomination with your literal eyes. When ye shall see the abomination stand in the holy place, The holy place represents your temple. Your genome is holy, ripe and qualified for salvation, and now we see the abomination standing in what was holy.
Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes.
Which is symbolic for when you see the rolling out of the abomination, do not receive the abomination if you're looking to finish your diploma, finish paying off a mortgage, travel to visit family and friends, travel the world, get a job promotion, buy and sell, keep your job, visit family in hospitals, dine out, attend a concert, watch a live game, keep your integrity, keep those who are close to you. When you see the rolling out of the abomination, be prepared to possibly lose your lifestyle in exchange to save your soul. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet. Jesus here is elaborating on what the prophet Daniel said, and what did Daniel say.
And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days.
Daniel says, and from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate. Salvation is taken away because the abomination makes the individual desolate. Desolate means empty. Jesus says, when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, and Daniel says, and from the time, we can clearly see that we have two warnings pointing to one time.
For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. There should no flesh be saved. There should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
If God doesn't shorten these days, and the enemy has more time, there would be no one left here on earth that would be genetically ripe for salvation. And as for the sake of the elect, we will continually rob the enemy of his time.
For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together.
Eagles represent an unclean animal, and they will line up to eat off the carcass.
But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only.
When John Doe rolled up his sleeves to receive the abomination, did John Doe know that these days, compared to a thief, came upon him on that specific day and hour? No, he didn't.
But as the days of Noe were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
The days of Noah was all about the pollution of the DNA, an agenda to prevent the birth of Jesus Christ, because Jesus cannot come from the bloodline of Nephilim. We can clearly see this DNA pollution today.
For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, marrying and giving in marriage, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noe entered into the ark.
In the days of Noah, men were having sexual relations with Nephilim hybrids, who then bore Nephilim offsprings. This is the meaning behind giving in marriage. Giving in marriage means divorce.
And knew not until the flood came, and took them all away, and took them all away, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Just like in the days of Noah, they knew not of the flood to come, and because of their lack of discernment, they were taken away with the flood. Likewise these days, those who took the abomination, they were also taken away with a flood, a spiritual flood.
Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken, the one shall be taken, the one shall be taken, and the other left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken, the one shall be taken, the one shall be taken, and the other left.
Notice here, they are working, many jobs mandated the abomination. The ones that are taken first are the ones that Jesus Christ ordered the reapers to gather first, the tares to burn.
Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, reapers, gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them. But gather the wheat into my barn. Watch, therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. But know this, that if the goodman of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh.
If a person is not aware of the time frame he is in, he is ripe for the pickings to have his house, tabernacle, temple, genome hacked and broken into.
But and if that evil servant shall say in his heart, My Lord delayeth his coming, my Lord delayeth his coming.
If that evil servant says he has more time, if that evil servant says that the gathering of tares first has not happened yet, if that evil servant says it's not the mark, and that the mark is still in the pipelines, this evil servant is delaying the times, because he is unaware of the true time frame he is in. And it would of great offense to this evil servant if a friend or family member expresses that it is the abomination.
And shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken. The Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of, and shall cut him asunder, and shall cut him asunder, and shall cut him asunder, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
It says, the Lord of that servant will cut this evil servant asunder. Remember, man alone cannot cut asunder, only God can cut asunder. And what God cuts asunder, no man can reverse. Asunder means divorce. Now let's gather our layers concerning divorcing God at the genetic level. Falling away in Greek is apostasia, which means forsake. We have a divorce, 2 Thessalonians 2:3. So that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God, divorce and marry into, 2 Thessalonians 2:4, until he be taken out of the way, and then shall that wicked be revealed, divorce and marry into, 2 Thessalonians 2:7-8. Standing in what was holy, Jesus elaborating on what the prophet Daniel said, divorce and marry into, Matthew 24:15. Abomination of desolation. Desolate means empty. Divorce. Daniel 12:11. Giving in marriage. Jesus Christ comparing the days of Noah to these days. Divorce. Matthew 24:38. If the good man of the house, temple, had known in what season he was in, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house, temple, genetics to be broken up. Divorce. Matthew 24:42-51, and shall cut him asunder. Divorce. Matthew 24:50-51. Now let's add more to this list from a scientific point of view. CRISPR-Cas9, cut and paste, divorce and marry into, the patent name luciferase, erase, divorce. COVID backwards is divock, Devok is a term derived from the Hebrew word dibuk, which is an evil spirit of possession. To replace, divorce, and Antichrist, which means in place of Christ, a substitute for Christ, divorce and marry into. And there you have it, folks, many layers to confirm our interpretations, line upon line and precept upon precept.
Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief. And thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. The Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of, and shall cut him asunder, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.